MS310 muffler mod, and show you how I hand file. How are we all doing today? I've had 4 hours sleep. I'll fill you in a second. Just get the saw out. What I'm working on today. MS310. This is in actually really nice condition, and it was bought where I bought my 311. It's got a full chisel chain. It needs a sharpen. That's going to be the next part of the video. Only problem is the top rail. With a properly sharpened chain, that might be okay, but these, actually not this bar, this is an actual steel bar. That might need a dress. Not to worry, I can sort that out. Nice full chisel. One sharpened old chain. Actually, it looks like it hasn't even had a sharpen. Yes, one sharpen old. Anyway, I was at the hospital with Kieran. I come home at, I think it was 4:15 I left the hospital. She still hadn't been seen. She's only just been seen now, and it's midday. I don't know how you Victorians do it. The hospital systems here are rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Just to go in, get a cut, drain something out, have, well, when I was in hospital, I had 2 big drip bags and 2 small ones with antibiotics, and it took them 3 days to do that. Anyhow, she's getting the muffler mod. This saw's getting the muffler mod. I know a lot of you blokes maybe on the group wouldn't approve, say they don't do nothing, they just make the saw louder. They actually do, if you know how to do it properly. You don't take, it's the size of the hole you drill in the baffle, I find. You still got to have your back pressure as well as a working baffle. But when I did mine, I did it exactly the same as that bloke did his 039 on YouTube. That, I forget his name, but the saw would pull a, I mean, I know it's in America and their timber's different to ours, but I only went from an 18 to 20 on mine, and 20 was, it pulled the 20 like it did the 18. I know I talk a lot of rubbish, but I'm actually speaking the truth for a change. So, as you can see, the deflector, the size of the deflector outlet also plays a part. I just winged the first one. I did it exactly the same as I made on YouTube, but I didn't make the holes in the muffler as big as he did, because it's a 59cc instead of a 63cc or whatever they are, 3 MS390 039, which brings me to the 310, the other 310, Craig. I've got an 039 motor here, complete behind me. instead of buying an aftermarket one, we'll do a deal on that one if you want. I don't particularly want it because I've got this engine ported in the toy up there with the Pharmatech, half Pharmatech, half OEM saw. That engine's OEM. By the way, no Chinese parts in here, in the engine. Plus I've got two 029 serviceable cylinders in a box behind me as well. For a race saw, the pistons can be cleaned up and just rerun, which is probably what I'm going to do with my toy. So that's, yeah. Looking at the spark arrestor, she's a bit rich. There's a little bit of carbon there, but if you look at it, it's a bit dark. That could have just been from the startup he did the other day when Kieran picked it up, but there's a fair bit of carbon. Anyway, we'll see what the deal is here. I might just take this bar and chain off before I pull the muffler off so I can lift the saw up. It's actually the chains. The left hand cutting teeth are sharp as, but the right hand side's hit something. And I'm OCD with the bar nuts. I can't stand it when people just put them on willy-nilly, and where I like them to have the steel stamp facing out and untouched, like you know what I mean? That's just how I like it. I don't like them when people take them off and then just throw them back on every which way. That does my head in. Oh. At least you still got the Farm Boss sticker on it. There, anyway. Probably talking rubbish again. But Dad's got an 029, he's still got it, he bought it in 89. The Mudgee Field days in 1989. He still uses it every winter. It's never been to a shop. He's on his third bar, 18 inch, 3/8, not 325. And I think he's on his third sprocket. Actually, I might say fourth sprocket because he swapped mine when I moved out. I left my saw there and he raided it. But I thought I'd be better than Dad and I'd go the next model up, which is the 310. And yeah, I've never had an issue with it, and I only just sold it last year. She's a bit dirty. And carbon. There's a lot of carbon in there. I'd say she was run rich. So what are we looking at? Let's have a look at this. Pistol. I'd say it's only just run in by that compression, but I can still see the machine marks on the piston. There's one little line right in the center above the top ring. Looking at the colour of the plastics, this is not very old. But I will give it a good degrease. Looking at the bottom, about the same amount of scratches as mine had, but my plastics turned yellow. I had it 18 years and I only ever cut about 5 6x4 trailer loads with it. We'll say less than 10, just to be sure, because there was a few loads in there, and I'll put this back in the box. Comes with the woodsman case. Mine come with the woodman's case as well. I've still got the case. I didn't sell it with the saw. Okay, so just want to know what I did with my 310. I'll mark it out on this muffler with the texter. When I remember where I put it. Right there. This is black. Yeah, my muffler was black. Dad's 029's stainless. Okay. It's just a simple little amount of grinding. And I think here I drilled a 10mm hole. That was it. Old mate on YouTube goes a little bit more than what I am, but if you can see the marker, that's all you do. There are people that take all that out because you can see where the deflector sits, but where I've marked is all that's needed. Plus on here all you do is take that out. That's it. And you keep the spark arrestor screen in play, and it probably, I don't know how much in decibels, but it doesn't get much louder than stock. So what I will blow the muffler out before I reassemble. And I've got to run the round file around them. Just pretty much double the size of the ports, and then a 10mm hole straight in the middle. I believe that's what I drilled. Yes. So I'll use the step because it's already on there, and it'll be easier. So the third step's 10mm. I think No, next one. That'll be it, I'd imagine. Now I'll just get a cheap shit Bunnings file, which I probably won't because it's a red lever. Okay, we're done. Simple. You're giving it twice the amount of air flow. And you'll be giving it possibly half a turn on the high to richen it up. You got to make them 4-stroke. That's because they don't set them at 4. They don't set them that rich from when you buy them. So that needs a bit of a hit with the wire. That nut needs to be picked up. No doubt the rest have gone down there too now looking at that. Might jump and make them knock them off. So I've got about 2 hours I can be out here. If the baby doesn't play up inside. So I'll just leave these on that angle. I'm just going to clean this oily carbon up underneath. Ever so slightly. So it's got 1127 DKC. They must have a new maker of the muffler. Well, obviously, they might have changed back in the day. I don't remember seeing one DKC on the back of mine. Just give the front of it a bit of a swipe. That's that. Now I'm going to start my compressor up and give it a quick blowout. Hopefully it cooperates today. I'm going to put the chap somewhere. Good old husky chaps. I won't be going anywhere without them cutting me off, that's for sure. Good thing is you can still wear shorts and still wear chaps. That's what I like about it. Well, those ones you can anyway. Still get down. About to get noisy. Right. I'm not liking that little bit of carbon in there, so I'll use my pick with the knurled bit on it, clean it off. I'll have it tuned that properly that it shouldn't carbon up again. I did check my piston on mine before it got sold because I put a photo up of the piston and there was absolutely no carbon in there. And at that time I was running the HP Ultra or whatever it is, the blue stuff, the Stihl stuff at 50 to 1, and then when I couldn't afford that, just ordinary 25 to 1 with the 200ml bottles you get at the servos. That's a nice chip. Check this gasket. No, there's no carbon around that. That's all right then. Okay, let's put it back on and retune it. I didn't even start it to show you the sound difference. Probably should have. Is that a... Yes, I've got it, thank Christ. A burr. There's another little one there too. Just fish that out. So we're at polished black now with the muffler just from the wire wheel. So now I'll do the easy bit. Where's the deflector? I've got to cut that, I've got to grind that first. This goes like, not like that, it goes like so, then the deflector. So I've got to put the saw out of the way so that no filings get there. Bottom of the case needs a bit of degrease too, so I'll do that same time. Hopefully I've got some left. So now, deflector. I'll move that 662 cylinder as well. I don't want filings to get in there. Set it there. Still got to get some bearings for that 662 so I can rebuild it. I've done up taking me to theatre soon. Oh, she might be home tonight. I've done. Give me a sec, I'll just pause this and come back. Okay, I'm back. Good news. Surgeon's just seen Karen. She's going in soon. So she's just had some painkillers and is going to sleep. She's only had 2 hours sleep since whatever time she woke up yesterday before we went to the hospital. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, 662 case gasket and base gasket I've made up. If anyone ever wants to purchase, or we've made some up, but not the case gasket. I haven't even made a gate, but I've got the what do you call them, the prototypes. That's what I was trying to get out. Plus 670 cylinder gasket, base gaskets, 690 base gaskets. And whatever other gaskets you want, you just can send me a photo, even if for example, 365 base gasket, right? If it's split like that, just put it together on a piece of white paper and send me the photo and the measurements, and I can make them up for you, it's no worries. Me and Reese have been working on them. I've got a few that I've made myself. 051 up to 076 case gaskets. I've even made up a gasket between your carb plate and the carby. I mean your filter base plate. Anyway, I'll get on and do this. Done. Grind it so it still shoots the air the same way. I know it may not seem like it'll work, but it actually does work. Unlike my race saw up there, it's got the Chinese deflector where it shoots upwards. You've seen what I did, I think, in the video. I cut a bit of that out and now it just shoots sort of forward. If you catch the drift. Okay, spark arrestor screen in place. And I make it easier on myself and do that so it doesn't slide out of place. This could be boring for some of you, but I can't really do too much today. I've got to go pick up shopping. That was booked in yesterday. Kids didn't go to school because they didn't get home till 4:45 this morning. I was awake 24 and a half hours all up yesterday. I did find it hard to stay awake at the emergency waiting room. I did nod off a couple of times, but it was only just asleep 10-15 seconds at a time. So yeah, if ever any time you guys need gaskets, I do buy really good gasket paper, not cheap Chinese stuff. The last roll I got didn't last long because it was only, I think, 750 by 300 we can cut. So 300 mil by 300 mil. We do have a 600 mil mat that goes on the machine. I think something's got to change. I'll get my Stihl screwdriver out because that one's a bit bent. That's for long. I did have my Stihl one out today. We used the pulse former tuning screwdriver. which is imitation of the Stihl one anyway. One and a half. Butterfly's closed. Open it up. There we go. Like a bastard. Are these adjustable? Yes. Must be turned right up for the 20. Now, so it's not much louder than standard. It's a little bit there. It's got a little bit of a, not as much as mine. Now what I want to do is put the filter back on and recheck the tune. It is a little bit fat on the high, but I think this could be at 25 to 1. I don't know what Craig, I think Craig mixes 50. Obviously they're going to have to retune, but I'm hoping I can get it at a reasonable tune that they can start it and run it and cut with it when they go up where they go. Whee! That is mint. Okay. It's going to be a long one today, guys. I didn't expect it to be that long to get to where we're at now. I reckon this saw's as old as this bar, which ain't that old at all. Just my thoughts. I mean, from what I saw on the piston, that's minty. Not very new. I reckon it's probably, this is probably the chain that come with the saw as well. Just my guess. The guy, I don't know if the guy told his story to Craig or not, but he can't. His shoulders are stuffed from slabbing or whatever he did. He's got a 660 for sale as well, but I think he's got a fair amount on that. Excuse me, when I have Weet-Bix, my reflux gets worse, plus I've got no pills left. So I've got to go get some tonight. Yeah, his shoulders are stuffed or something from slabbing, so he can't start the saws anymore, which is why I sold him. But I wouldn't mind betting this saw is as old as this bar and chain. I'd guess. Looking at the bar, some bars I've had from Stihl over the years, 2 tanks, and they've got paint coming off them already. Alrighty, let's do a sick sharpen job on this. Might move the tripod and show you how I actually do it. Come back. There's all gone. You can see what I do when I sharpen. So, right hand tooth, left hand push, right hand pull. 7/30 seconds fire. This side was rocked or something. The working edge was curled over and flat. I'll just move you in and show you that tooth. That one there. Oh, you probably won't see it. There you go. I've got to get a better tripod. This is just one of those cheap ones. $20, $18 or $20 ones it was. Is that the one I just sharpened? No, that one. I just showed you the wrong one. Sorry. That one there. No, that one there. Just a cheap one, you get the halo included. I think it's $25 or something like that. That light there's probably better, is it? Yeah, it is. Don't worry about the strokes you're taking, you want to get the tooth sharp. I'm not worried about gullet because it's already there. What I am worried about is getting that burr off the tooth. I'll get the gullet, takes 2 to 3 swipes. Using my right hand now. That tooth there, right where my knuckle is. I've used all the contraptions you can think of that are available, except for that new one that you mount to your bar, drive the piece through. Oh, yeah. I haven't heard anything good about them, so 2-in-1 works good when you're out in the field and you want to sharpen quickly. But I find, actually that's probably too much of a hook for red box. I was just following what was there already. It might be alright. Have I sharpened that tooth there? No. I've done those two. Not a very good backdrop to be filming with. Rubbish and tools everywhere. But I normally don't bring yous along to show yous. That's a bit of hook for red box. Just changing the angle of the tooth a bit because they're a bit aggressive. I reckon 35 degrees over on. What the bloody hell was that? Oh, 76 muffler guard. I hope it didn't break because it was in mint condition. Okay. Now we're following the factory angle. This tooth's absolutely smashed. Have a look. I don't know if this will pick it up, but there's no hook on it, no point on it at all. Boom. Believe me, I've practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. Hand file. But quality files make a hell of a difference. These are still branded files. I don't know about you, but when I concentrate, the sweat just flies out of me, and standing in an awkward position as well. But I taught myself before I went out that last weekend, last Friday night actually. I'm looking at the wrong part of this camera. Last Friday night I really actually honed in and got myself in the gear to get this filing down pat. Now I can actually do it like Buck and Billy Ray in a vice. But when I'm out in the field, I've got to kind of lean on the stand up, lean on the saw on the log, but the log's got to be tall enough because I'm a tall guy, most of you know. The guys that I haven't met in person, I'm 6'5". I was 6'7" in high school. Because of my back, I'm shrinking. But I've really honed it in. You've got to get decent files. These Stihl ones don't last very long either. I've already gone through 2 Stihl. I went through one last Friday night. The Husky ones had it as well. The Husky one has lasted the longest I've found, but I haven't tried velour files yet, or the Oregon files. So I just had a little breather. She's sharp, she'll take chunks out of your finger. I've got chunks out of my fingers from last week. But it's easy. You use your left arm on the handlebar. Okay, there's the burr. Off she comes. She's sharp. Next tooth, left hand. I'll show you the top view if you can see it. I hope you can see it. The file doesn't even get in there. I never thought I'd be doing sharpening vids. I'd have done a couple before over in the man cave on low profile 325 chains. But the files don't cut as good as these. I'll have to get some 5/16, 1364, all the other sizes you need. Some decent Stihl files. Oops. First 3 strokes I got the gullet. Now I'm working the top plate. There it is. We got a hook. So yeah, that's how I do it. I'm not going to film the whole chain. We could be here a while. So everything's mirror image of what it should be. Because there's a face another way. It's a pretty good left-handed chainsaw, isn't it? So that's what I look at when I look up. There's my timing wheel, pegboard with those totes or whatever you want to call them. They did have a whole heap of stuff in them, like snap lock bags with steel screws and that written on them. That's what they're in now. The old school kind of like that idea, but plastic, not metal now. I'm happy with that. See what a restart's like in the vise. Moving twice as much air. That's what you want. Have a good night. See you all later. Hooroo.